welcome everyone. I'm Scott Levin to another edition of Get to Know. We have a very special guest today, Dr. Candace Johnson. Dr. Johnson is the president and CEO of a beloved place in Western New York, Roswell Park Comprehensive Care. That's right. We all feel the love, Dr. J.
Park.
Thank you so much for your time today. Everybody wants to get to know you a little better. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here, Scott. I'm thrilled.
It is all ours. Yeah, thank you. Now, let's start with where you are originally from. Everybody always wants to know. They know you as the president, the CEO, a big doctor in town, Power 250. Congratulations on being in the top 10. Where did you grow up? Are you an original Western New Yorker? People want to know.
No, I grew up in Ohio. I'm a Buckeye. You know, the Ohio State University in a small town, Newark, which is just about 30 miles east of Columbus. And so a small town, 50,000 people. My father had an insurance agency. He was an independent insurance agent. In those days, that was, you know, it was, I don't know if they still even have independent insurance agencies anymore. But he, you know, I grew up in an older brother and, you know, a regular kid.
What were your interests? You say a regular kid, but you had to have been rather determined and smart to become a doctor and head a huge organization. What were your interests as a young person, and what made you want to study the sciences when you went to college?
Well, you know, when I was really younger, I mean, I was always sort of a tomboy, and so I adored my father. You know, I had an older brother, but I was the apple of my father's eye, and so I loved sports. I was a Cleveland Brown fan. We would watch football games on Saturday afternoons. As a little kid, I knew every player. I had a very sports-centric family between football and baseball and whatever. Of course, the Ohio State Buckeyes were always a big source of entertainment. But as I got older, I've always been very outgoing. I like to talk in front of people. I like to be on stage. And so I wanted to be a ballerina. I wanted to dance.
Really?
Yeah. So I took dancing from when I was about 5 or 6 years old until I was in my 40s, for goodness sakes. And I was never obviously good enough to make it my profession. But the other thing is my father was he was old school. And so, you know, what are you going to do with this dancing? Candy, because I was Candy. I don't know if your mother or father call you something different, but I was Candy. And what are you going to do with that? I mean, you got to be able to make a living. And so he was just not going to have it. And I was always really good in math and science. I've always been a very almost crazy directional goal. Whatever I did, I had to succeed. I had to win. So, you know, math and science I excelled at, and so I would focused on that in my academics. And you know, I still had my creative outlet where I do my little dance thing. So,
you know, my girls were dancers also. I've been to more recitals and all sorts of things. It gives you quite a foundation, though. It gives you, you know, the ability to be able to be on stage and to speak in front of people like you do. So, you know, you may not have used it professionally, but you certainly use it professionally in many other ways to your advantage.
No, that's exactly right. I think, and it's a, you know, it's very much a solitary kind of thing, because you're dancing, you're really doing it yourself. And so I think that was also a good thing for a young kid. To develop that discipline, because ballet is very disciplined.
All right, so I knew you went to the Ohio State University, as they say. What happened after graduation? Where did you go? What did you do? What was your first job?
So I went to Detroit. So small town girl goes to the big city of Detroit, Michigan. And I worked in Detroit at the cancer center there. It was a Michigan Cancer Foundation, now called the Carmanos. You know, I lived in the city. I had no idea about big cities and sort of the scary part about living on my own and everything. And so it was quite an eye-opening experience for me. But I made lots of good friends. I became a little more worldly. you know, as far as, and Detroit was actually, it's a beautiful city. It sits right on Lake St. Clair, which is a small little lake in the Great Lakes system. And so it was lots of fun memories in Detroit. I was only there for about 3 years, and then I went to Denver at the University of Colorado. And I loved it there. In fact, if I'd have found a job there and I could have advanced my career, I probably would have stayed there because it's a beautiful place. I ski. It's a very athletic kind of feel to it, and lived there for 8 years. And then went to Pittsburgh.
That's right. You did go to Pittsburgh at the University of Pittsburgh. And tell us about your experience there. You worked there for many years, right?
I did. I worked there for 12 years, and it was really a very, you know, in Colorado, I was just the little punk kid, junior person in the lab, you know, always trying to assert myself, but I always had my mentor there that it made it more difficult. And so when I went to Pittsburgh, all of a sudden people are looking at me like, wow, this person's really, she's bright, she's direct, she's got goals, she's got ideas. And so it was really a blossoming period for me. And I really rose through the ranks very quickly. And Roswell came looking for me in Pittsburgh and asked me to look at a job. And I thought, okay, this sounds pretty good.
You know, people always talk about your passion for the job and your experience. You're perfect for that job. When you heard Roswell was calling, what had you known about Roswell, and what did you think you could add to Roswell?
Well, you know, interestingly enough, I think sometimes Roswell Park is more appreciated outside of Western New York. So I knew all about Roswell Park. They were very distinguished in the area of cancer research, in the area of drug developments, new novel agents for cancer, to treat cancer. I'd been here many times to give seminars, visit friends. You know, I'd been to Buffalo a number of times, actually liked it very much. And so when I was being recruited to look at a position, it was very attractive. And, you know, I wasn't looking to leave Pittsburgh, and actually Pittsburgh didn't want me to leave. So they sort of tried to, you know, they always tried, it's kind of like a sports trade.
Right.
How much can we pay her to get her?
Right.
And then how much can we pay her to retain her here? And so, but I saw the promise. You know, Buffalo, when I moved here, that was 2002. And you remember, 2002, Buffalo was not the rising city that it is today.
That's right. I got here in 1998. You are 100% correct.
Yes. But I have to tell you, you saw the people, you'd never meet people that are, and people go out of their way for you here. And you just saw the energy in the city and the fact that they were like on the cusp of things. And then if you see what's happened over the past few years, really exciting. I mean, it really motivates me. And I'm thrilled to be here. We don't have trouble recruiting people to Buffalo anymore.
Right.
You know, they see.
Well, you know, you've got a unique 120-year, I believe it is, history there at Roswell. You take over, you have several thousand employees there. What is it that keeps you up at night? I know people always ask you that, and everybody always wants to ask a CEO and someone in leadership, what is it that keeps you up at night? Because you guys, there are some promising new therapies out there for cancer, but what keeps you up at night?
Well, you know, I guess that sometimes you worry about the things that you don't have control over.
Federal funding.
Yeah, federal funding. Exactly right. You know, I wish I had this little magic wand and I could say, give cancer researchers more money. But you know, I worry about that. I worry about sort of, you know, our economy in general. I think COVID, I think we've been lucky actually here in Western New York because we haven't been hit with the COVID negative effect. Believe me, we have been hit by it, and it has affected our economy. But I think we're doing pretty good at trying to get out of it and getting ourselves back on track. And so I think the future is very bright for us. Look at our city. Before COVID, there were so many things going on, and now here we are coming out of COVID. I'm energized with the future and what we have ahead for us.
And do you believe that the new cancer therapies that are coming out are going to continue, that there's more science? I know that you have written over, authored and co-authored over 200 different periodicals. So you're in the thick of this, and cancer affects so many people personally. Everybody knows someone who has cancer or has died from cancer. Is there still more promising therapies on the way? I know they've made strides in lung cancer and things, but then there's pancreatic cancer. And, you know, my father unfortunately died from that, and that's one of the more difficult ones. So what is the outlook on surviving cancer now?
So, you know, Scott, I'm actually, you know, I'm a huge optimist anyway, but I really think we're really on the cusp of some really exciting therapies. You know, we're now using our own immune response to fight cancer. And our immune system is extremely powerful if it was directed appropriately. And for the first time, we're seeing cures, I mean the C word, cures of many types of cancers as a result of these innovative cellular therapies involving the immune system. So I'm very optimistic that we're going to see some great advances. And even in pancreatic cancer, you know, the immunologic approaches haven't worked as well in pancreatic cancer as they have in lymphomas or certain kinds of leukemias. But we know a lot more about those pancreatic cancer cells, and I'm really hopeful that we're going to be able to turn those immune cells against pancreatic cancer and see some really significant results. So I'm very optimistic about the future.
And let me ask you, as the leader, why does Roswell exist?
So we're here, you know, NCI 50 years ago, and we're sort of celebrating the sort of anniversary, the 50th anniversary of the National Cancer Institute. And when the National Cancer Institute was set up, they decided they needed to have centers of excellence to deliver the very best innovative cancer care around the country. And they wanted these centers within a day's drive of every single American. Roswell Park, we were one of the very first cancer centers 50 years ago. There were only a handful of them 50 years ago that got this designation, and we were one of them. I believe there were only 4 initially given out. We were one of them. So here we are, we're an NCI designated center. And so if you have cancer, if you come here, you're going to get the experience of what's the latest, what's the most innovative trial out there, what's the best treatment for your kind of cancer. And you could do that if you go to any NCI designated center. So you have that, here we have that in our backyard in Buffalo. But you not only get that, but you also get access because we have connections to the 50 NCI designated cancer centers around the country. We have things no one else has. They have things no one else has. So when you come here, you have access not only to us, but you have connections to all those other centers where if you need some specialized treatment, we're going to send you there. So I think that's what you get and that's why it's so important to have a Roswell Park in Buffalo, New York.
It sure is. It is a gem. We love to support it. My wife and I support it personally, and we thank God that we have it here in our backyard. Miracles are being done there every single day. A couple other questions before I let you go. I know you're busy. Tell me about your family here. Do you have family in the area? And
I do.
What do you do on the weekends? You're a busy executive during the week. You have to let your hair down and do some things that you enjoy.
I got to go to the grocery store. I got to go to the cleaners. I got to do all that regular stuff. So I have twin boys, and my sons are 29. And one of them is getting married in June.
Congratulations.
So yeah, it's very exciting. They were supposed to get married last June, but because of COVID, it was postponed. So that's very exciting. And his brother is got a very wonderful girlfriend, but no plans for marriage yet. But so yeah, I have 2 wonderful kids in the area. My husband also, he's retired and is here in the area as well.
And what do you like sports? Are you a Bills fan or you're a theater fan?
Oh my goodness.
What do you like? What interests you on the weekends?
Well, I'm a huge college football fan.
Really? No kidding.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the Ohio State?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, my daughter goes to Alabama, so I'm a Roll Tide fan.
Oh, I have to tell you, I'm not a Tide fan. Okay. It ain't happening. It's just not happening because they're so good. I hate them.
They are good.
They are good, but I love the Bills. I have Bills season tickets. I've had them since I lived here. I have 4 tickets. My son takes them every game. I have to tell you, Scott. So I haven't been to a game personally, but I have season tickets because I want to support them. I love the Bills. You know, the Wilsons were so wonderful to this community. I still have connections with Mary, and the Rulers are doing great things. And I love the Sabres. I love hockey. And I love basketball. I like to watch college basketball.
Oh, that's great. Dad, do you have any pets at home? Any pets?
Oh, we have 3 dogs.
3 dogs?
3 dogs and a cat. We always had 1 dog, of course, and then we thought the 1 dog had cancer, and so we thought we'd get a puppy. Of course, the dog didn't have cancer, so that was 5 years ago. So we have those 2 dogs. And then my one son brought a husky puppy home because he just decided to buy it. So that's why we have 3 dogs.
So a couple more questions. Where would you like to go on vacation next? Where's your dream vacation?
Well, you know, we've gone as a family for years to Block Island. I don't know, Block Island's this little island just outside. You go through Rhode Island. It's in Rhode Island. And I'd love to go back there this year. I'm not going to be able to. It's all booked up because of COVID. We always stayed in the same house. But I'd love to go to Block Island. But I could probably go 30 miles away and just check into a hotel and be happy.
Same with me. You and I are both alike that way, Dr. Johnson. Last question. What do you love most about Buffalo and Western New York?
Well, I love the weather because I love snow and I love the summers are actually spectacular. So I think the weather is, I think it's a hidden thing. When I moved here, I thought, why are these people apologizing for this weather? It's beautiful here. So I love the weather. But the other thing, and this would be a close second, is I love to cook. I didn't talk about that, but I love to cook. And I'm a pretty good cook, actually, because I've done it most of my life. And I love to create. It's like science, you know, it's like a big experiment. And so Buffalo is so sophisticated. Our groceries are fantastic. And our restaurants are all individually owned with all these chefs. And I think it's a hidden secret about Buffalo is our dining and our cooking and cuisine.
Well, we have gotten to know you a little better. You have 3 dogs. You love to cook. You are a dancer. Let's see what else. You would love to go to Block Island. We got to learn a lot more about Dr. Candace Johnson, who is in the top 10 of the Buffalo Business First Power 250. I also want to say, I found out, did a little research, the Health Power 100 list as well, which is a pretty impressive list itself. You're a very impressive woman. You're a phenomenal asset to Western New York and to Roswell Park. And from all of us here at Channel 2 and personally myself, thank you for what you do every single day, making miracles happen, Dr. Johnson.
Well, thank you, Scott. Thank you for what you do because you keep us informed. You tell us what's going on. So thank you for what you do.
I have the best team. I have the
best
team here.
Team.
I do.
Mary Alice, wonderful.
As do you.
Yep, that's right.
We are both blessed. Dr. Johnson, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate getting to know you a little better.
Thanks, Scott. You take care.
My pleasure.
All right. Bye-bye now.